afternoon. Um, I apologize for not being able to do a video earlier this morning. Uh, there were some holdups, and that's what I went able to do one this morning, but I'm able to do one now at this time. Um, Not sure y'all can see me. Hopefully you can. Um, as concerning the severe weather threat, um, we're in a slight, most of Alabama's in a slight risk for possible strong to severe storms Saturday. Basically, Saturday afternoon and Saturday night and early Sunday morning. Um, from the shoals, basically for northwest Alabama, north central Alabama, northeast Alabama, and perhaps even southern middle Tennessee, and towards Birmingham and Montgomery, and perhaps even Mobile. Or there may be a part of Mobile and Baldwin that's in a marginal risk. And of course, the Dothan also. I guess that goes for the same areas that were hit by the deadly EF4 tornado Sunday afternoon. And um, the threats haven't changed, although from what I saw from the Weather Service earlier, probably an hour ago or so, that uh, damaging winds and perhaps large hail and a few tornadoes are possible. They're in the minimum or medium threat. Um, but apparently the highest threat is flooding again. And let me be very clear on this. There's no need to panic or anything for the flooding threat. It's not gonna be like it was a week or two. Not it's not gonna be like it was either a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. It's not gonna be like that. Okay? Nothing like that. But as I've been saying the last 2 or 3 days, all it takes is one flood event or one tornado threat or one hail threat. I mean, all it takes is one flood event, one tornado event, one hail event, and one damaging wind event out of the whole state coming down your street and your neighborhood to be a day or night that you will not hope may or may not ever forget. It doesn't take a whole lot of them, it only takes one. So just keep that in mind right now. But apparently the flooding is the highest threat. But damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes are possible. And I'm not saying this to scare anybody. I'm saying all this to warn you about and give you as much heads up on it as possible. That's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to give you plenty of heads up, plenty of warning about it. The freeze warnings are over for now that I'm aware of. The temperatures have warmed up above freezing, which is good. But it's not the last freeze snap we could be having. Could have more. But the biggest thing that has my attention right now is the weekend severe weather threat. Most of Alabama and Mississippi and Tennessee and other locations are in a slight risk for strong to severe storms. That means scattered storms. That means scattered severe storms or so are possible, or perhaps likely. Uh, does that mean supercells or does it mean a squall line? Don't know yet. That's a possibility. Um, and the risk areas may change again. Hopefully they won't, but they could. I'm gonna check some things right quick. Hold just a minute. Let's see. Well, the police department just posted something. Okay, I just saw this from Sheffield Utilities outage alerts. We'll have we'll have an outage this afternoon from approximately 12:30 p.m. until 3:30 p.m. to replace a pole that was damaged by a vehicle. This will affect our customers off of County Line Road from our Ford City substation south to 2nd Street. It will also affect customers on Mount Pleasant Road. Our crew will work quickly to restore power as soon as possible. So, heads up on that right now. Just a minute. Yeah, the slight risk for strong to severe storms means that scattered severe storms are possible, short-lived, and are not widespread, isolated, intense storms. That's what it means. So that's the case right now. That may change, and I hope and pray it doesn't change. Hopefully, nothing happens at all. But, you know, we have to be prepared for it. That's the bottom line. We just have to be prepared for it. Let's see. Let's see. Alright. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this. Learning more about privacy stuff. I hope people were able to get in and all. Um, anyway, the main threats: damaging winds, a large hail, and possibly a few tornadoes. And again, there's a threat for flooding. Again, but, you know, the bottom line is we just have to be prepared. That's all we have to do is be prepared, hope and pray for the best. Know where you're sitting, know where your tornado safe place is, and have a readiness kit. That's the bottom line. If you have all that, you're going to be fine. If you don't know where your tornado safe place is, it's very simple. If you have a basement, if you have a storm shelter, or if you have a safe room, or if there's a safe room or community storm shelter or basement nearby, that's where you need to go. If you don't have one, if you don't have any of those, and if none of them are nearby, and I'm talking about for the site-built structures, if you're in a mobile home, if you're in a mobile home or if you're in a vehicle, you have to get out of them and get to a more substantial shelter. That could be any kind of site-built structure. And if that site-built structure does not have a basement or storm shelter or safe room, or if there's no community storm shelter or safe room or basement nearby, then what you need to do is get into a small room, bathroom, cooler, closet, hallway, on the lowest floor and near the center and away from all windows and doors, and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And wherever and in that safe place, everybody needs to have helmets on. It would increase your chance of survival and avoid head trauma or worse. I'm not saying that to scare anybody, I'm just trying to help you out and help you be aware of it and warn you about it. Excuse me. And um, um, you need to have shoes on too. If your house gets impacted, if your home or business wherever you're at gets hit by a tornado, or if it's not a tornado, if it's damaging winds, or if it's large hail, or if it's flooding, and you walk through the damage and there could be glass, brick, glass, nails, anything like that that could cut your feet, or worse, or make you bleed to death, possibly or likely. That's what would happen if you don't have shoes on. That's what could happen if you don't have shoes on. I'm not trying to scare anybody, and I'm not trying to be graphic or disturbing saying that. That's just a warning, and you need to be aware of it. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, I'm trying to help you out. Help you stay prepared and stay calm and not panic. There is no need to panic at all. There's just no need for that. Because if you panic, it's going to make matters worse. And especially if you have kids with you. Whether it's your own kids or whether kids come to visit. If you panic, it can make matters worse. It will not do any good. So, you need to keep that in mind right now. And don't come out of your state. Do not come out of your state place until you get the all clear. That's something I do not mention very often like I should, but I'm going to now. When you do go to your safe place, stay in that safe place until you get the all clear. And once you get the all clear, then you can come out of your safe place. But when you don't get the all clear, you stay there. Are we expecting severe weather today or tonight? No. It's Saturday when we're expecting what the possible threat of severe weather. And we have to be prepared for it. There's just no choice. You have to be prepared for it. If you have any questions, oh, another thing, make sure you have multiple ways of receiving the watches and the warnings. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you need to have a no weather radio and a very reliable weather app on your phone, whether it's an Android phone or iPhone. Okay. Whether it's an Android phone or iPhone, iPad or iPod or tablet, the Android or iPhone version, whatever it is. You need to make sure you have a very reliable weather app on that device, on your mobile device. That way, you'll be able to get the warning and make sure it's turned up loud. That way, um, you'll be able to get the warnings, the watches and the warnings. Um, um, another way of receiving the warnings is social media, even though it can be delayed. Is it the only way to receive the warnings? No. Have a weather radio, have a very reliable weather app on your mobile device, and social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, especially Twitter. Seems to be a lot faster than any other social media platform. But anyway, um, excuse me. Um, TV's another option. You can watch the coverage, and also have a AM, FM radio, battery backup radio. Also, whether it's a hand crank device or whatever, make sure it's battery powered because the sirens do not have batteries in them. They don't. Weather radios, all kinds of radios that I'm aware of have batteries in them. The sirens do not have batteries in them, from what I heard, what I was told. Um, um, and I repeat, nobody needs to depend on or rely on those sirens. They're not reliable anymore like they used to. Might have been a long time ago. And they are not meant to be heard outside. Again, they are not meant to be heard outside. I mean, they're not meant to be heard inside. Rather, let me repeat that: they are not meant to be heard inside. That's why they're called outdoor warning sirens. And it's impossible. And there's times where you may not hear them outside either. There could be some kind of noise interfering you from hearing them. So that's why I'm saying you do not need to depend on those sirens. You don't. It's just that simple. The weather radios will wake you up. And, I mean, am I saying those things are perfect? No. And they can all fail. They can all fail sometimes. But they are reliable. And the weather apps, they're reliable. And if you have a very reliable weather app on your mobile device, please make sure you have it set for your current location. That way, if there are any warnings, if there's any tornado warnings, if there's any severe thunderstorm warnings, if there's any flash flood warnings, or if there ends up being an emergency, if your current location's in that polygon, you will get the warning from that app. But if your current location is not in that polygon, you will not get the alert. If you're in it, you will. If you're not, you won't. That's that's why I love the polygon-based warnings, because if you're not in the warning, you don't have to do anything except to stay tuned to whatever local radio or local TV station that you typically watch every day and night. And most, if not all, TV stations have weather apps and news apps that you can download on your mobile device. So have them set for, excuse me, have them set for your current location. So that way you will get the warning if you're in the warning. If you're not in the warning, you will not get the warning. I mean, if you're not in the warning, it will not go off. If you're in the warning, it will go off. The weather radios, they go off countywide, just like the sirens do. Just listen to the text on the radio when it goes off for the warnings. Listen to every part of it. It's very, very simple. Just make sure you listen to the whole entire message on the radio. That way you'll get the information you need. You find out if you're in the warning or not, and then you can take action immediately. And you need to take every single severe thunderstorm warning, every single tornado warning, and every single flash flood warning. Take them very seriously. And this isn't the only threat of severe weather we could be having this weekend. We could have another threat of it next week. But once we get through this weekend's threat, I'll discuss next week's threat. But I'm really need to be focused on this weekend's threat before focusing on next week's threat. That's it's very, very simple to understand. And something I really want to be clear on is if the TV stations or radio stations have to enter programming to cover the tornado warnings and all, do not get upset. Do not send any hate mail or anything like that to the meteorologist or any of the stations. They're doing they're not doing it to get attention, get fame or nothing like that. They're doing it to hopefully prevent loss of life. I mean, there is no sense or excuse for anybody to get upset with any of the TV or radio stations for interrupting program to provide severe weather coverage. There's no excuse for it at all. The ones that are doing that, they need to grow up and quit acting like a child, not getting their own way or what they want. And I don't care if I offend anybody saying that. I really don't. They don't like it, too bad. they have to interrupt program, they're going to do it. It's very simple. Alright, let me check the time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end this video right now. I'll do another one later on today. Just stay weather aware. I'll keep you posted as soon as, as, as much as I can. We'll get through it. Have a good day and be safe.